Hello everyone, this is James Peterson here, and this is part 2 in my 3-part series on creating animated stories. In part 1, you learned simple tricks for using animations to show a process. Now we're going to get a bit more complex. In part 2, this video here, we're going to make exactly this graphic. And in part 3, my next video, we're going to add these labels and this animation of the bile flowing into the gallbladder, and this animation of the food coming into the stomach, and this animation of the gallbladder contracting and bile going on the food, and this animation of the food breaking down and getting smaller and then going away. Now let me just show you this PowerPoint, and it's actually made up of 4 different slides. And the 4 slides have exactly the same graphic. Now I could have done all of this on one slide, but I broke it up into 4 slides because it makes the editing much easier. So the first step is to create a graphic. And this was a little bit difficult because I didn't know what a stomach looked like or what a gallbladder looked like. So I had to do some research and go online and look at some images. So the way I did that was I went to online pictures, and you can click on that. Now, there's a little bit of a quirk in my version of Microsoft Word. So if I do an image search from here, it doesn't work very well. So I'm going to press enter here, and then I'm going to go into flowers. And now I can do an image search without any problems. So I'm going to just do an image search for gallbladder. Now you can see up here it says CC only. And basically what that means is that all of these images have a Creative Commons license, which means that I can use these images for non-commercial purposes. There might be other rules about whether I can modify the images or so on. But as a general rule, as a student or as an educator, you can use images with a Creative Commons license if you cite the source. So you're going to select one or more images, and we're going to insert those images into our PowerPoint and use as a reference for drawing our own image. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use this image here, which is an exact copy of slide number 2. Now, when you insert your image, it's going to look something like this. It's going to be hard to find the perfect image because a lot of the images will have labels on the image that you don't want. There may be parts of the image that you don't want. So now the key is to try to create your own image. And how am I going to do that? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Insert, and then I'm going to click on Shapes, and then I'm going to click on Curve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this object to try to make the stomach. And I'm going to go a little bit beyond because I want it to go off the slide. So I'm going to start here. So you're just going to trace the shape. Drag your mouse 1 or 2 millimeters and then left click on your mouse button. Now the reason we're using a curved line is because if you use a scribble and you don't have a steady hand, every single little movement is going to be shown. And the curved line just makes it all very, very smooth. So it's just a slow process of tracing around the image. If I move my mouse away from the image, you can see the line going off there, and you just go back on the image and then again left click and continue. Let's just watch the rest of this in fast forward. And I'm going off the line here, and then I'm going to click there. So I've kind of created my stomach, and you can see if there's any shapes which you don't like up in here in this corner here, it has a kind of a sharp edge, and I don't really like that. So I can go up here and I can click on Edit Shape, and it says Edit Points. And one of the things which I can do is I can grab that point and just slide it in a little bit to make it a little bit smoother. And I can see if that made it better or worse. I kind of feel like that made it worse. So if you don't like what you did, you can just press Control Z and it will undo what you did last time. But in any case, I can go Edit Shape, Edit Points. The one thing, I just want to maybe just smooth that edge. And there we go. I think I smoothed it enough. So I'm going to do the gallbladder. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Select the curve. And then just drag around the gallbladder. Again, we'll fast forward here. So I have my two shapes there. Now the next thing which I want to do is I want to do this line. To do the line, you can go up to Insert and click on Shapes. And you could do a curved line for something very smooth, or you could do a scribble if you want it to look a little bit rough. I'm going to do a scribbled line. And I just draw it where I want it to go. And there we go. Now the next thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to change the weight. So go to Shape Outline and go down to Weight. And then you can click the thickness to 6 point. Now for me, I don't think 6 points is thick enough. So I'm going to click on the line again. And I'm going to go to Format Shape. And the Format Shape pane opens. And now I'm going to change the thickness here to 10 points. So there's a couple more things I need to do to this image. First, you can see that this line is in front of the stomach. I want the line behind the stomach. So I'm going to click on the stomach. I'm going to go to Drawing Tools, and it says Bring Forward. I'm going to click Bring to Front. And now you can see that the stomach is in front of that line. I'm going to do the same to the gallbladder here. So I'm going to go Drawing Tools and Bring Forward, click on the arrow there and go Bring to Front. And now it's in front of the line there. So now I'm going to delete the image behind. And I'm going to select over top of the entire image. And I'm going to go to Drawing Tools. And I'm going to click on Group. And now you can see that this is just one image. So the next thing which I want to do is I'm going to close the Format Shape pane. And I'm going to just decrease. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see the edges of the slide. Now I want the edge of the stomach to go off the slide. So here we go. I'm going to just increase the size of this. And just a little bit more. And there we go. Now I am off the slide. So that's looking pretty good. Now the next thing which I want to do, and maybe I might have changed the distortion a little bit. I can adjust that. So you need to just take a look at that. Now obviously the colors are all wrong. So I'm going to go back to Drawing Tools. And now I just want to ungroup everything so that everything's a separate object. And now you need to decide what color you want each object. So maybe this one here, maybe it's going to be that color. Maybe my gallbladder to start off with. Maybe I just want it to have some sort of background color like a gray. And maybe this line color. Maybe I also want that to have the same kind of color. So you just play around with the colors. So as you remember, I still have another part to do. I still have to do these lines coming up here. So I'm going to do those ones very quickly. So we've created our graphic and now we're ready to start adding animations. Please go to part 3 of this video.